Welcome to Courageous Conviction. Remember that Jeff and I record each Saturday 5 episodes. So please hit the like button, subscribe so you catch all 5 episodes. We usually start out with one theme or topic. We have to go down a lot of rabbit holes to really understand it. Some things are more sensitive than others right now, what's going on in the world. So hit the like button, subscribe, and let's jump into this video.
I'll make $400,000 or more. Well, doggone it, $400,000 is not that difficult to make. You know, I've been there, and it's not that difficult to get in that top 2 percentile. But with inflation over time, that's going to creep up to all of us. And, you know, they're going to lower that ceiling down too. You got to feed all these people coming in, because people coming in aren't going to work.
Right. So
what's your take on this?
Here's my take, and I just went to the temple last night. I don't want to scare anybody away from the church that's looking into the church. I don't want to scare anybody away from Jesus Christ, because we live in tumultuous times, even within churches. I mean, the biggest problems, and we knew this was going to happen according to the scriptures, that there's going to be divisions within the church and with all churches. I mean, it's not just us. You look at in evangelical churches, you look at the Catholic Church, there's this divide politically that has separated people that are church going. Now, I learned something in the temple last night, and I want to get into specifics, but it boils into this. There's a reason that the prophet has been talking about being peaceful. And I think it really is because there is so much contention that we can either fight, against, our own values. Basically, it comes down to that. Because I was getting sick and tired of all this other stuff and investing a lot of time. And it was taking me away from my own children, from my wife, from the things that I've got to take care of. This whole week with the Come Follow Me, has been about service, with King Benjamin. And I know you don't always follow all that, but the Come Follow Me, as far as I'm concerned, is the prophet did talk about how that was inspired, and we can use that as a direction, in our lives. And if maybe there is and I think this is why it's important, because it's allowing people who have differences to come together and talk about something in common. And really, I think finding that commonality right now is crucial. I found out that, there are a lot of things that I've been really holding on to that I know that are right, and yet me being combative with other people that don't want to listen isn't going anywhere. So, I think really it comes down to my initial reasoning behind coming back to church in the first place, which was getting back to the bare bones, come back to Christ and find Christ in your heart, and find the Savior's love in your heart, and emulate what would Jesus do? Because people don't always have, right now, they have lots of opinions and lots of judgment. I'm sorry that you went through that with your bishop, because I think that sounds really judgmental. And the bishop's wife that seems to have an opinion about who's coming over the border. I'm like, look, we've discussed things. We're not friends of illegal immigration by any manner of means. And yet we live in a country right now where it's happening on a very large scale, bigger than it's ever been. And a lot of these people could be or are some of our friends. I mean, I don't know anybody that's come over undocumented. Maybe the neighborhood kid, came over. And I have my opinions just like you do about how people should come over, and it shouldn't be illegal. It shouldn't be undocumented. It shouldn't be using the system to create some kind of asylum. But we're not giving anybody another chance either if they're leaving someplace like Venezuela, or if they're leaving someplace, in Latin America where there is no hope for them right now. Economically is an issue. And I know that's not a legal issue for them to be able to get over here and claim asylum, but these are the reasons why people are coming here, because there's a greater advantage for them to come here, not just to mooch. I'm not saying that that's their purpose to come here because they can get free stuff, and there are those that do that.
But Jeff, I think unfortunately, what you got kind of across the border around, most of them are coming from
Oh,
free stuff. You know, it's
and
been advertised down there what they're going to keep given and so forth. And
well, and so yeah, but I'm trying to look at the couple or the few, it's a big, ocean of salt with some pepper in there, and the
Yeah.
pepper is, are good people that are coming over, so, um,
well, let's break this down though. Why are they coming? Yeah, we need to break that down one day in this video because this is all prophecy.
well,
The young lion. We as a nation have forgot God. We've broken our covenant, right? And this is why they're coming because this was what the I guess the not the threat, but what the consequences would be that if we broke our national covenant, which we have, and this is why we're in the position we're in, right? It's like this politics has gone so far extreme is because we've abandoned all of our Judeo-Christian values here for the most part. Our constitution is hanging by a thread. It literally means nothing. You got judges doing whatever they want to do, constitutional or unconstitutional, a Supreme Court that will vote for the people who come across the border.
Eric, doesn't it say in those same scriptures and those, those revealed, things that are going to happen down the road that the Constitution is holding by a thread, but it's going to be intact. It's going to be defended. And, in the end, it's going to win,
Yeah, now Zion's going to support it. Now, what people don't realize though is Zion is members and non-members, the actual tenth of Zion. Right. I'm talking about the stakes of Zion, the actual tenth of Zion here in America. Those are all of us and the filter Brigham Young said would be the U.S. Constitution. So yeah, we'll save that, but I think that's not going to be safe for the whole nation. In my opinion, that's my feelings right now. I think the nation will divide, and I think that we'll gather and we'll be a nation, a Zion nation. And I think that's where it's going to head. Now, that's just pure my opinion. I don't have any prophecy backing that up at all. But I think that's where it looks like we're headed because there's no way that we can, well, I shouldn't say no way because miracles can happen. But at this point right now, there's no way, it seems there's no way that we can find a common ground to keep the United States united. It's just the left is so dead set in killing America that's, death with America. That's what they're chanting in the colleges all week. Death with America.
I wonder, maybe you're right. But I wonder, I've had a few conversations over the past week with some coworkers, right, who are, more left-leaning, definitely Democrat. And you know what? They have the same politics that I do and that you do. And they're not in favor of what's happening with Biden, with the centralized currency. They're not in favor of immigration, where people are coming over the border, in these masses. They don't understand that. They're not in favor of crime. They definitely believe in things like, which surprised me, like even capital punishment, because people are tired. And that's what happens when people, even, Democrats or Republicans or independents, we all believe that, justice can't be overlooked. And right now that's what's happening. So I think people will come together, whether it divides the country and we have a civil war. I mean, I hope not, but, but people will come together, and that's the important side of things. The prophet said that in the last days, we don't have to be worried if we're living the gospel principles. I mean, that's really needs to be our focus.
But that's okay. Let's unpack that a little bit. We don't have to be worried. And I heard at the conference too, all is well. Not all is well. All is not well. All is not well at all. Now, can you say, all right, we don't have to worry if we're living the gospel? Right, because if we're going to the temple, living our covenants, and somebody dies because of this, which is going to happen, right? Things are going to happen like this. I'm just saying what's the reality if this keeps going this way, then we have that temple bond, and that will bring us some sort of peace in the end. But still, that doesn't mean we're not going to go through human suffering while we're here on this earth. All was well when we leave this earth, but we're going to have to.
The pioneers suffered, and the pioneers were joyful. When they were losing members of their family along the pioneer trail and burying them, you would think there'd be wailing and gnashing of teeth, and this, that intense grief from losing a loved one would have overpowered them, but it didn't. They sang songs. They became more intact. They became more directed toward Jesus Christ. And I think that's what, that's the good nature of members of the church and other people that are, directed toward God. And I think that's what's going to bring us all together. I don't even think that it's just going to be Christians. I think it's going to be other people that believe in God including our Muslim friends. You know, I
Yeah,
think
no,
that there's
even Brigham Young said it will most likely also include Muslims. You know, well, it's gonna be Muslims that support the Constitution, right?
right,
Support the
exactly. I
Constitution.
mean, and
Everybody has to
look,
support the Constitution.
look, there's a big, huge conglomerate of Muslims that absolutely do not believe in the leftist agenda right now. They do not want their children to be indoctrinated with things that they don't agree with. And that's where that separation is starting to occur, you know, so they're going to become more a part of people that want to be more about God. And that's what it's going to be. Do you believe in God or not? And if you don't, you know, I mean, even there's some atheist people that are going to start leaning toward those values that, you know, they think that belong to them, but really it began with Christianity, you know, the good values that the atheists claim to have, you know, just being good to your neighbor, didn't start with, you know, paganism. You know, it started with God.
It's a white thing. I'm kidding. Hey, but you know, I'm gonna tell you this much. Now you may be talking to people there, but here, right? You get to the Bay Area here, these people absolutely believe what's taking place is right. That's why they have their sanctuary cities and so forth here. And they're going broke, and it's just incredible. So what are they doing? They're going to increase taxes here as well. So Biden's going to increase federal taxes, but the state I'm in is going to increase state taxes too to keep paying for these people coming. Do you see the boatloads coming in now over the California shores? They're just coming in boats, right up on the beach. People are swimming in, they run up on the beach.
I saw that.
Now they're coming like 100 deep in a boat, and they just get out and run. And that's just where's our Coast Guard at? Well, the Coast Guard is supposed to be catching all that. Where are they at? Why are they standing down too?
You know what? California is going to implode on itself. Those are dumb mistakes, I think. I think that's just, I don't understand those kinds of policies that allow, you know, for those open borders. I think that there is no justice. And when you can walk into, you know, when you can't walk into a Walgreens in San Francisco because they're closing down, or a Walmart or any other store, and everything's locked down, even here in this state, you know, I can't go buy a tool unless I find somebody and track somebody down at Lowe's. I had to do that to get I had to get a grinding tool, you know. And I'm like, okay, I can't just pick it up and take it to the counter. And once they unlock it, they got to take it to the counter so I can pay for it, like, you know, like I'm some criminal, but that's not sustainable. You know, I mean, at a certain
I don't want
point,
to live that way. Yeah. I don't want to live that way. But I think it's going to stay that way, because if we look at the Book of Mormon, when things got bad, remember they would bury their property and still couldn't keep it. You know, so it would get down to the point where you could actually bury what you had. It was so little, and you still couldn't keep it because the theft was so bad. And I think we're going to go there, Jeff. Unfortunately, look, here's the thing.
I thank you for being with us on Courageous Conviction. Remember, there's 5 episodes each week that we put out. We have to go down a lot of rabbit holes, so stay with us. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and don't miss tomorrow's episode on Courageous Conviction.